What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Frankiesaquatics right here on the audio platform, apparently. On the wonderful platform that is YouTube. So this week's a little bit different, isn't it? You can hear me, but you can't see me. How strange is that? Yes, it's a little bit odd. So this is my podcast. I do have a podcast. Yes, I do. And I talk a lot on that podcast. But this week I decided to do a special YouTube special podcast, which is going to be focused solely on axolotls. So if you are a regular listener to my podcast already, firstly, thank you for doing so. I do enjoy myself over on the podcast. It's not in any way, shape or form in regards to aquatics. It is just me having a little bit of a moan and a rant about everything that's going on, and we have a bit of a laugh over on there. It's a little bit sweary, so I don't recommend it for a younger audience. So if you are one of my younger viewers, it definitely isn't for you. I would definitely slap an 18 plus kind of label on it, because we do talk about a lot of silly stuff over there. Anyway, so I thought to myself, well, this week I can't really get in front of the camera. The reason being is I am, as some of you probably already know, I do have a lot of issues in regards to my health, more so my eyesight. And I've had a really nasty eye infection, which cleared up, came back, and it's starting to clear up again. But the thing is, I can't really focus, and I don't really want to put myself on camera with a gammy eye, to be perfectly honest. I don't want to do that. So I thought, well, rather than completely swerveboard it this week, I thought what I'd do is I would do it in podcast format, and then that way you guys still get a little bit of Frankie's Aquatics this week, and obviously we can kind of hopefully bring some new people over to the podcast in the same breath. But just bearing in mind, if you are going to head over and check out the podcast, which is called Out of Water Podcast by me, Frankie O'Reilly, just be aware it is definitely for a mature audience. I don't want to get you in trouble. If you are a youngster and you find the podcast and you listen to my filthy mouth, I don't want any of that. So only go over there if you are of age. So anyway, this week we're going to talk about 3 things that the Axolotl Handbook doesn't tell you. I've done many of videos like this in the past, but they're really good because you always come up with new things and new ideas. So I'm going to keep doing these fresh and exciting audio videos. So this week, that's what we're going to talk about. 3 things that are not in the Axolotl Handbook. So the first one, number 1, is axolotls can be really fussy eaters. Yes, 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 it is true. Not exclusively. If you've got a pixel on your hands, like me, she will literally eat till it comes out of her gills. She is a chunky monkey, and I absolutely love her for it. But unfortunately, not all axolotls are cut from the same cloth. Some can be really, really picky eaters. Some will absolutely love worms, some won't. Some will enjoy bloodworms, others won't. Some will eat just about anything, whereas others don't. It's kind of finding that balance, what works best for you and your axolotl. I do always kind of suggest that bloodworms are great when axolotls are small, because they are technically like chocolate to a child. Most do enjoy them, and most will embrace them and love them and grow nice and chunky on them, but not exclusively. As they get older, you have to switch them onto a more substantial meal, and that's usually where a good feeding pellet can come into play, as well as earthworms. Now, you can feed other things as well. I don't really feed anything else outside of that. However, I have just recently been feeding shrimp as well. As a little bit of a midweek treat, shall we say. And they do, again, most of them enjoy them, not all of them. So some axolotls will love them and absolutely gobble them up in a heartbeat, whereas others, which is quite comical, and I will actually share video footage of this in the future, will happily go, "Ooh, it's food," and they'll snap it all up, and then they'll realise, uh-oh, it's shrimp. I don't really like shrimp, and then they'll spit it straight back out. It's so comical. It is so, so comical. But yeah, so axolotls can be really, really picky eaters. That is the first thing that is factual. Your axolotl might look all cute, but they might have the most pickiest of appetites that you ever have seen. The second thing is axolotls poo an awful lot. They really do. I don't mean like every day a lot, but when they go, they go. That is why I always recommend people get themselves a nice trusty turkey baster, so you can get straight in there with your turkey baster as soon as you see it, and you can obviously siphon that little stinky bomb straight out of there. You don't want to be leaving the poop in there and assume that the filter will pick it up, because what will happen is that poop, as soon as they stand on it, will turn into poo confetti, and it'll go all over your tank, and it'll also quickly sour the water. So the moment you see a nice compact poo, get in there with your turkey baster and get it out of there, because it will absolutely hum. And not only that, be very careful because they stink as well. Absolutely stink. But yes, axolotls do poo an awful lot. Again, it does vary compared to axolotl to another axolotl. You might have one that goes every other day. You might have one that will go once a week. You might even have some that will go probably once every other week. It depends, really. But as long as your axolotl's happy and eating and obviously pooping in some sort of order, then I wouldn't be too concerned. But yes, axolotls poo an awful lot. So get yourself a turkey baster, or be ready with your siphon just to get in there and get it out of there. Nobody got time for no floaty poops. Next one. They can get sick quite easily and very, very fast. Now, that's not to say that they're going to curl over on you, but they can have little things that kind of happen literally overnight and out of the blue. Fungus is very common. Fungus is usually down to, obviously, either poor water quality or poor temperature control. The main one, really, from experience, is definitely temperature control. You need to keep an axolotl's tank nice and cold, because anything that spikes too high, what will happen is your axolotl will definitely start to show signs of fungus. Usually forms on the gills to begin with, around the head. It almost looks like you've got little bits of cotton wool. Hate cotton wool. Little bits of cotton wool on their gills, and then if you leave it, it'll often spread onto their body, onto their back, onto their feet, and everywhere in between, and become very quickly problematic. Now, a lot of people reach out to me really, really panicking that their axolotl's got some sort of fungus. My suggestion is don't panic. Don't over panic. It is very easy to fix as long as you act quickly. It's when you leave it and choose to turn a blind eye to it. Terrible pun from me, that one. But if you turn a blind eye to it for too long, that's when it can become a problem. Don't be too tempted to jump straight at medicines either. You can just change out water, pop them into a nice container with nice cold treated water, nice fresh water, daily water changes, and that will usually clear out any kind of fungus and stuff like that. There is obviously medications out there, but that's not this kind of video. There is videos on my channel, so do be sure to go and check out how I treat common sicknesses. So yes, that's something that not a lot of people tell you. Axolotls can get sick, and they can get sick fairly quickly as well. A little bonus one I thought I'd chuck on the end of this is no one ever warned you about this, or at least you don't believe them if they do, but your axolotl will steal your heart. I don't mean that in a horrible, gruesome, murderous, Halloween-style movie way. No, don't worry. They're not going to climb out of the tank and chase you around your home. I'm on about you will fall in love with them. They're incredible little creatures, and they will absolutely steal your heart. They have this way about them. Even the most shy, timid ones, you'll instantly start to fall in love with. They're just adorable, and I might be completely biased here, but there's nothing better than an axolotl. I absolutely adore them. I love their little derpy faces. I love how clumsy they are, and I've just broke my pen. Did you hear that? I just broke my pen. Oh, gutted. But they'll steal your heart, and they won't give it back either. No, they'll keep it. They'll keep it for their own. I always call them water sausages, water pups, water companions, water buddies, whatever it might be. They're basically like owning a little excited puppy that just lives in a tank. They are adorable. They really are sweet. And yeah, they will grow, and your love will just continue to flourish for them. They're an incredible little species, and if you're an axolotl keeper yourself, I'm pretty sure you'll already be able to relate to that. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this week's sort of video podcast style thing. Just to echo off what I've already said, you will find my podcast on all podcast players, from iOS to Android, everything in between, Spotify. You just got to go on there and search for the Out of Water podcast. So one more time, Out of Water podcast, and it's by me, which is obviously Frankie O'Reilly. Just be aware, again, it's not for a younger audience. I swear a lot. I talk about a lot of silly things on there, so don't be influenced by me. I'm a wally. Don't go there if you have little ears. That's all I ask of you. If you want to contact me in other avenues, now there's a little bit of a different system of how we're doing things. So the first way you can contact me, if you want to know about any rescues, or you have a rescue that needs rescuing. It's a lot of words to use, rescuing, isn't it? You can contact me on my email address, which is Frankiesaquaticsuk@gmail.com. One more time, that is Frankiesaquaticsuk@gmail.com. If you want to just check in and say hello, and you want to be polite and friendly, then obviously you can always message me over on Instagram as well. The reason I'm kind of keeping the two things very separate is it's very tricky to keep up with who wants what. I love talking back to my viewers and my listeners. It's great. It's quite possibly one of the best things I do in this whole thing. But I have to keep the two things very separate. So anything business related, contact me on the email. Anything kind of fan related or anything like that, then obviously reach me over on Instagram. Also as well, just before I run off, I am actually looking for my first official affiliation and / sponsorship, and that's both for YouTube and for the podcast. I want it to be sort of a semi-permanent fixture. I want it preferably to be a small business. It can be something as simple as an individual sat at home making key rings that wants a little bit more exposure. Whatever your little niche might be, reach out to me. You can do that either. Preferably on the email, frankiesaquaticsuk@gmail.com, but you can also reach me on Frankiesaquatics over on Instagram. Reach out to me. I want to kind of give you some exposure. I want to kind of help the smaller people get seen by the bigger audience that they deserve to be seen by. Doesn't have to be our financial thing either. It can be something as simple as send me your products over, let me review them, let me talk about them on the podcast, let me talk about them on videos, and then we can go from there. I also want to say a huge special thank you, as always, to my Frankiesaquaticsuk. I'm saying this with a smile just thinking about it. You guys are amazing. They're basically the people that support me over on Patreon. They have been my absolute rock throughout this whole lockdown. I think we've kept each other sane over there. So if you are one of my Frankiesaquaticsuk, I think you're amazing. I appreciate your support more than I can ever kind of echo out on a podcast or a video for that matter. But I love you all dearly and thank you for being part of it. If you want to get yourself involved with Patreon, you will find all the relevant information below. You can also find it over on my Instagram as well. It's basically the people that support the channel financially each month, and they help grow and progress the channel and everything in between. The fans that go above and beyond, and I really can't thank you enough for that. And I don't like using the word fans. These guys are my friends, so thank you so much for supporting. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you all, as always, for checking out the audio-video thingy-me-bob. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I will see you all next week, hopefully, on a live YouTube video. That is as long as my eye is not all dried out and closed, because it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit iffy at the moment. But as soon as I'm back up to health, I will be back. I do promise. I do miss you all, you know. I miss you all terribly. Anyway, thanks all for stopping out and checking out the video. And until next time, ta-ta for now.